Bruh, would you look at those gauges? Oh, they look so killer. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are again in the interior today. I'm sitting in my M4 seats, which you guys recently saw the video for. I hope you guys liked it. But today we're going to be doing something that I've already done before. I already have a video about it, but it's not the same. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to swap your gauge faces out in your M3 or any E92. Any BMW actually, for these gauge cluster overlays. They're not overlays, they're replacement gauge faces. So these are made by a company called Venoxy. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it, but these are custom to what I wanted. So basically you go on their website and you tell them exactly what you want. These are actually called M4 style. So I went ahead and I chose them to put M3 instead of just M like on there. So I chose to have M3. I chose to get rid of the kilometers per hour because it kind of looks like all clustered. So I got rid of the kilometers per hour so it frees up that gauge a little bit. And for the M4 style, it has this really cool little design. Do you see the thing I'm touching with my thumb? It makes them have like a pointy like needle look, when the M3 has like these little blobs. There you go, you can see what I'm talking about. You can see like the blobs around the numbers. It's like a line, circle, line, circle, line, circle. That just looks kind of outdated. But then the one I have here, you can see are like needles and they look more like futuristic or newer. It's what the M4s have. And then also it has this black bottom, which is something that the M4s have as well. I'll throw up a picture of an M4 gauge cluster so you can see what I'm talking about. So to actually get into it and start working on it, the first thing you're going to do is remove this actual cluster. And to do that, there's one screw here and one screw here. So once you have those two T10 screws out, the cluster will come forward to you like this. And it does work best if your steering wheel is adjusted all the way to you and down. So now that that is the way it is, pull the gauge cluster out and you will see a wire or a harness. To unplug this harness, you just push in on this clip and push this lever down, just like that, and then it will come undone. Now that that's undone, the gauge cluster is completely disconnected and can be slid out with some wiggling. So now that the gauge cluster is out, we no longer have to be in the car, so we're going to go ahead and bring this inside where it's nice and warm. Now, the first thing you want to do is get a T10 Torx bit. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 T10 Torx bits that you need to take out. So once you have these screws removed, there are these clips all around the edge that you can see. So basically what you're going to want to do with these is I have these pry tools, which I'm going to use to do it. You don't need pry tools. I actually, in my other video, I used a butter knife. So a butter knife will work fine too, but you basically just pry up on these and you work the gauge cluster away, the back of the gauge cluster away from the rest of it. And it'll come apart just like that. So now we don't need to work with this anymore. This is just the lens. So you can take this and put this to the side. And now we'll be working with this. So you're not going to be needing to get any further than this. This is going to be your workstation for the rest of this mod. The next step is to remove the needles. Now in the instructions which they supplied, they said that you can take 2 teaspoons and you basically get under there like a hook and you pop it up. So they take 2 teaspoons and they pop under there like this and the needles pop straight up. On my 328, they were kind of difficult and I don't know if a teaspoon is going to fit under there, but like I said, I have these trim tools which I'm going to be using. So if you a butter knife works as well. You know, you don't really have to worry about scratching these faces because you're going to be replacing them. So in the other video I couldn't scratch it because I needed to retain these numbers since it was just an overlay, but with this one you're completely replacing it. So it's alright if you scratch them. Just be careful with the needles. Make sure everything is on 0 at the start, but just get under there and then do a little bit of prying, and there's one needle off. Now this next step is really easy. You actually, these gauge faces are just stuck on with just adhesive. So you can see these, it comes with some adhesive on the back. These are stuck on the exact same way. So just pick a corner, I'm choosing this red line right here, and just go ahead and peel it off. So you're not gonna break anything, so don't be scared. Just be careful, you know, go nice and slow. And now you're working with no gauge faces. So just obviously remember which side is which. You don't really have to remember. Here's the RPM gauge, so you know that this is the RPM side, and this obviously has to be the miles per hour side. Next step is just to clean your work surface. So I did get some leftover residue from the old faces. So you just want to go ahead and scrape that off and make sure that there's nothing that is going to be in the way for the new glue. I got some of my girlfriend's nail polish remover. The nail polish remover is pretty much acetone. So acetone is pretty like, it eats away plastic. So just be careful of how much you're using. But I'm gonna use acetone to take this adhesive off. Just a little bit on the end of a paper towel or a napkin is enough to do it. So that all feels good to me. Make sure to go ahead and just feel it over, make sure there's no residue. Everything feels good. So now it's time to put the actual faces on. So just keep in mind that you don't want to put it on the wrong side. Remember, this is the RPM side with the red line and those yellow notches. So we're gonna take this side and do it first, just to, you know, knock it out. Now you can see these holes right here for the needles. Those are a great way to line up where you want it, but also yeah, I guess that's the best way. Just make sure you're nice and center. It really doesn't matter which way you put it. It's gonna light up no matter what. So if you are like a very hair off, it's not gonna make a difference, but you just wanna line it up with these needle circles as best as you can. So it's pretty easy to line up, looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the backing tape. Just be careful not to, you know, let any dust or anything get on this sticky side, or like don't let your fingers touch it really. Just wanna be really careful. Like I said, these are really rigid, so it's not gonna flop on you or anything. So just hover over it, get it exactly lined up where you want it, and then drop it. Now just take your finger, smooth it out, get it all stuck down. It's best to work from the middle outwards just in case you have any air bubbles. It gives them the best chance to work out to the edge. So there's one down. It's already looking really cool. You can see the red line, how it matches really good. You can see that color. You can't even notice the color difference. It looks really good. So I'm really happy with how it's coming out so far. For the other side, you just want to repeat that process. It's the exact same thing. Alright, so we're finally done. I'm really happy with how it came out. Next step is to reinstall the needles, which this is going to be kind of confusing the way I explain it because I'm not good at explaining things, but obviously you want your needles to be on 0. So 0 for the miles, 0 for the RPMs, 0 for the gas, and then you want it to be on whatever your temperature is, whatever your lowest temperature is. So in my case, my low temperature is 120. So you want the needle on the 120. But what you're gonna do first is you're gonna take your small needle. It doesn't matter which needle you start with. I'm starting with my small needle, and you're just gonna wanna place it on the shaft. So right now it's just sitting on the shaft. I didn't push down at all. What you're gonna wanna do is now you're gonna wanna start anywhere that's not where you want it. So I'm starting in the center here, and you wanna just lightly place it on. Now take the needle and push it to where you want it. So I want it on 120, right there. Now that it's there, it's reset. So now take it and just push down and confirm it. So now it's on 120 where I want it to be, and if you take it and you gently move it, you can feel that it moves freely throughout the band. Now if you slowly move it back, you'll feel that it stops at 120. It won't go any lower than that. So that's how you know you did it right. So we can just continue that step for the rest of them. So there you have it. I didn't know how I would feel about the red needles over the yellow, but I think it looks good and it keeps the OEM factor to it. I think it looks awesome. So now that your needles are on, if you have any questions about that, just leave a comment below. I know it is kind of confusing, but that's really the best way to do it. So now that that's all together, again, just make sure that you don't have any dust on here. I had quite a bit from putting my hands all over it. Blow on it a couple times, and then go ahead and just take your lens, because we're all done. Just be careful to get this odometer reset, the trip reset button. Make sure it just goes nicely into the lens. And then once you're lined up, go ahead and press down. You'll hear that nice positive click. Make sure all the clips are clipped in. They are. Everything looks awesome. You guys can see that. Looks OEM plus. Now we can go ahead and put our screws back in. So that's it, guys. The hard part is done. Everything is put together. The next step is to go back out to the car and reassemble. Alright, so just go ahead and slip the gauge cluster in. Again, make sure your steering wheel is all the way out. It's hard to do this with one hand, but I'm going to try. Go ahead, get this harness, plug it in, and then make sure you latch that latch thingy, and it's all in. Then just try and get into place, and there you go. Just falls in. Bruh. Look how good that looks with all the rest of my interior bits. That's literally the perfect addition. I'm so hyped I did this. Just don't forget to add these 2 T10 screws, and then we can go ahead and start it up. Alright, my screws are in. Everything's put together. Now we can go ahead and give it its first start and see if all our needles work good. So it looks like all my gauges are working fine. The RPM shot up to where they usually sit. My gas gauge was exactly there when I started. Let me go ahead and give it a rev. That all works. It also looked like my my clock reset, so I got to go ahead and adjust that. There you go, all done. So that's all good. Everything works fine. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a whip around the parking lot, and we'll see if my speedometer gauge works. So there you can see my gauge moving up. So everything works. So last test would be to wait till your car fully warms up, and then you can see if the temperature needle goes up. I could see it actually moving just a little bit because I did recently drive the car, so it is still pretty warm. Yes, I do see it moving up, so that's all good. All my needles work, none of them are stuck. So this was a successful DIY. Alright guys, that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, it was a really easy DIY that anybody can do themselves, and you need minimal tools to do it, and it looks so good, and it just makes your car look even that much newer. It doesn't make it look outdated at all. It looks really cool, and I'm really happy that I went with the M4 style with the black bottoms. It gives it a different look, and it looks killer. Let me know what you guys honestly think about this mod. Tell me if it's ricey, if it looks cool, if you're as hyped about it as I am, and maybe you guys want to do it for your car. Let me know, because I really want to know, because I think they look awesome. And you know, I work on BMWs all day. I work for BMW, if you guys didn't know that. And I see like the sexy gauge faces in the M2s and the M3s, M4s, M5s, M6s, M8s, the new M8. They're just like crazy all LED backgrounds, digital displays, and you know, I wanted to up mine and kind of have it match. So I'm hype, and I really think I did that with this, so I'm really happy I did it. Real quick before I forget, if you haven't noticed, I'm over 1,000 subscribers now. It took me all of 2019. I started this YouTube channel, Ty Works, in early to mid-January of 2019, so right when we started 2019. And I started it with my cousin. I said I would stick to it, and I did stick to it. All of 2019, we got about 508 subscribers, which I was extremely proud of. You know, I put a lot of hard work into these videos, and I was happy when I see my subscriber count grow every day. Within the first 13 days of January, I doubled my subscriber count up to 1,000 subscribers. One of my videos went to the recommended page, and I couldn't be any more happy about it. That video is at over 110,000 views now. It's crazy. It's actually my LED swap video for my 328. I'm surprised that that video got so high, but I guess a lot of people are interested. I have some hate comments on it, but 90% of them are all love, and I love you guys for that. So thank you so much. 2020 is going to be the year, and we're going to just go up from here, and I hope you guys are going to stick through it with me. So I'm really happy about that. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for sticking here with me. Like I said, we're just going to go up. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, you know where to leave them. Give this video a fat thumbs up because I'm hype about it, and I hope you guys are hype about it too. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe, because this is only the beginning. And like I said 2 times, this is going to be the 3rd. We're only going up from here. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.